The voices in my head. All of us have a voice or voices in our heads. As a spiritual being in a body, your spirit is the observer. The voice of the ego speaks the loudest, and what few people grasp is that we have a choice whether to listen to the voice in our heads or listen to the spirit in our hearts. Many people today are adamant that God doesn't speak to all people, and many who do mistake the voice in their head for the voice of God. That has led to great confusion, a lot of deception, trauma, and people running to others for guidance and confirmations. We need to make a distinction between the voice of the ego, the voice of the enemy, and the voice of God. And it starts with trust. The universal laws of attraction and of consequences stand and cannot be moved. It works in a positive direction but can also work in reverse. If you set out to find the voice of God, your trust and confidence in the faithfulness of God is essential. You must trust in the spiritual laws He has put in place that governs our very existence. Having the expectation of possible deceit will open you up to the possible deception. As you reap kind after kind. Trust that Father will honor your pure desire to find Him, and He will keep you. Even if you do make mistakes as you learn, like a toddler learning to walk. It does not happen overnight. Knock and keep on knocking and the door will be opened. Remember, if one wants something bad enough, nothing will stop you. Your endurance and commitment will be tested, but the reward is sweet. Now let us look at the voice of the ego. The ego voice is the commentator talking non-stop in your head. It goes something like this: upon waking. Ugh, my joints are stiff, I need to make time to stretch more. Ugh. I need coffee. I wonder if the kids are up. It is strangely quiet this morning. Driving out of the driveway on your way to work. Look, there is that idiot that doesn't know how to use an indicator. Oh, there is Mike, quick, look the other way, if I wave I will have to stop and greet and I am already in a hurry. And so, the ego voice talks inside your head all day long, identifying anything and everything you lay your eyes on. Imagine that voice as a person accompanying you the whole day everywhere you go. I am sure that after a while you will tell the person to please be quiet. So why do we accept the voice in our head? Have we become so accustomed to the nagging noise that we tolerate it? Do you know you don't have to? You can tell it to be quiet. In order to hear spirit speak, the mind needs to be quiet. Once the chatter slows down and stop, the voice of Spirit/Father will become clearer. He will not compete for your attention. You either give it willingly and from a place of love, or you will reap not hearing Him. So, once the mind is trained to be quiet and know its place, you must deal with the voice of the enemy. The enemy will speak to the mind. The Bible warns that the battle is in your mind. Almost all the time the first voice, loud and dominating, will be the enemy. He is impatient and will want to strike first in giving you guidance to your detriment. The Father takes His time in responding, and it is a small, still, peaceful voice. Important also is to have and use discernment. God will not tell you to harm or deceive. Evaluate your guidance or message based on love for God, love for fellow men, and love for self. The enemy and ego voices are responsible for opinions and judgments, and we are not allowed to entertain any of them. We must stand neutral to the world and observe in order to transcend and ascend. You must overcome the mind and the senses. God is tolerant towards all, Jesus is tolerant towards all, man is intolerant towards anyone and anything not agreeing with their beliefs and opinions. We cannot judge actions because we cannot see intentions of the heart. Our ego mind is on a constant automatic judgment setting of things, people, and places. Stop that. You have the power over your own mind. Speak life instead of death. The ego mind hears and believes everything you tell it. If you can't think of something good to say, keep quiet and let the thoughts drift out. Make space for silence. Do not say God doesn't speak to me. Acknowledge that your own beliefs and programming are blocking you from hearing. Do not blame God, do not play the victim. Work out your own salvation in trembling and fear, meaning in reverence to an almighty God. Do not wait for Jesus to do it or God to do it. You have free will, you have been given dominion over the creations of God. Do it yourself, the power lies in your choice and in your hands.